It's still so familiar. There we go. Perfect.
All right, we'll get our meeting started. I've asked Rich Gray, Air Force veteran, to open give our certification, and then we'll do our pledge.
Father, thank you that you've given us government to prevent chaos, and I thank you that we have these that serve you as elected and those that serve here in the courthouse that keep things straight in this county. We're grateful to you for them and ask that you protect them as they do their duties in honor and truth to you. We thank you for all this in Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Drummond. Here. Brady. Absent. Small.
Here.
Johnston.
Here.
Yax.
Here. All right, we approve the minutes from the May 3rd regular meeting.
So moved.
Moved supported, any discussion?
May 17th minutes.
I said May 3rd. Said May 3rd on here. Oh, I have to say.
You're the one. Yeah.
You read off this.
Yeah, I don't have my June 7th. Okay, May 17th. Yeah, please.
You got this right there.
Yeah, but this is the May 17th meeting. That's
No, I don't understand.
The last one was.
I was
Andy, what I have the last one. then.
like, I missed that meeting.
You want
Does
to say
anybody
that?
else want a copy of the agenda?
I'm good.
Evan's not here.
Tonight,
Okay.
We're good now?
we're good. I got it.
Okay, I'll get you to these people.
Who made that motion? To the minute?
Carolyn made it. And Jerry seconded it. We're waiting for discussion. I don't think there is any, so Carolyn gets back. We'll hold.
Yeah, what you did was your good.
I had it because I read through it this morning, but then I. Yeah, invest protocol. Got it. Those you can-
Yeah, I think that's.
All right, it's been moved and supported. We're ready for discussion. Do you have anything else on minutes to discuss? You're good. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, limit 3 minutes. Identify yourself if you would, please.
I'm Kelly Von Fennel with the FSU Extension here in Harrisville. And on behalf of Tracy D'Agostino, who's stuck in meetings all day, she wanted me to pass this out to the board members. She wanted me to let you know that the 4-H maker space at the school is doing well, and she said the updates and the details are all in here. So that's what I'm doing here. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Nope, that would be it for me. Thank you.
Can I ask you, if we got a director yet? Are they
The
still
board
running?
coordinator?
Yeah.
Yes, she started Monday.
Okay.
Julie will be bringing her here, I
Okay.
think, at one of the next meetings, but she'll be here
Oh,
in
yeah,
a second,
fine.
but she'll be here.
All right, thank you. Next, anyone else?
Mac McCormick, Curtis Township Supervisor. Question is, has anybody else applied for help from the county with the Michigan Land Bank blight elimination program? I was talking to Cheryl the other day. She didn't have anything record and didn't know if maybe you had heard from anybody.
No, so we had one that was close in Harrisville, but at the last minute, then you just decided to back out. I don't know, you had the same way.
Didn't get.
So it's a tough deal because we don't have anything that's as publicly held property. To go through the extra step of getting a private individual to agree to some stipulations on their property.
Correct.
So I had 3 or 4, but when I got right down to it, they kind of didn't want to do it. So it takes some legwork. Now, I did talk with one of the directors there at the land bank, and I think the monies are gonna continue to be available.
Okay.
Maybe not in the way 200,000 guarantee probably is not gonna happen that same way, but I think the program is still gonna be ongoing.
Okay,
So hopefully there was enough interest, and maybe the folks that didn't,
okay. For my dilemma is, I have a case, but picked up 133 pages from probate. The one that I want to deal with is in litigation, and there's a stipulation in that program. If there's an ongoing thing, I may not qualify, so. If we get this resolved, hopefully we'll still have time to get this one in.
well, the deadline was the 30th.
31st of May for the second round, but
Second
I
round.
heard that maybe a third
I think
round.
there'll be a 3rd round, because there wasn't.
Meeting on Zoom.
What is my camera right there?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mac. I'll get a hold of Mayor. If I hear anything, I'll let you know.
I appreciate
it. All right, I was not supposed to engage with the public, was I? No. Sorry,
You're putting out.
I apologize. Anybody else? Rich, right?
Let's try to Harrisville. I would like to, I know that in this county, we have several small communities. But I would like to just make a suggestion that within the county, we look at maybe a way that people could contribute funds as a way to have the flag displayed on main streets in each of those communities. I know Lincoln does it, Harrisville does not. I know that's a city issue, but if the county commissioners would be so kind as to maybe come up with a program or even talk with the city about it, I would appreciate it. Flags on main streets. Thank you. American flags.
Anyone else? Anyone?
So public
Marlene?
comment?
Yeah, public comment.
Just in time.
All
I
right.
don't know if you got my email earlier, Marlene McNeil, Alcota Township, just asking for a letter of support for a grant opportunity for the Sparks program.
Letter.
This is the letter I sent you electronically, you can manipulate it if you want, so good letter. Oh, thank you.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think you said it all in there. I think it's a great opportunity for us and for the whole community.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone online? Public comment, anyone? All right, hearing none. Presentations. Jennifer is not here.
That did not end up needing to be a matter that came before the board, so
Okay.
it's been taken care of,
Got it.
so that would just leave John.
John Arden.
The county last week purchased a program called Know Before, which is a cybersecurity awareness training and phishing simulating for email testing to help protect the county. The policy that I would like to present and if I get passed, it basically outlines how we do training for cybersecurity, how we do our email testing is when we send out emails to see if anyone clicks on anything. And this outlines everything. I removed line 9 from Appendix A. It didn't have any merit. And I doubt anyone would ever get to that point. So far we've done pretty good. The first simulation went out. We only had 4 clicks on the fake email. Out of 70. So not too bad. We were at 4.3%. Government average is 15%. So we are ahead of the game already. A lot of the users here are fabulous already. This is only going to help us with a little extra training and more emails will be sent out for testing. It's one of those things of it's easier to do the prevention now versus getting hit. And 99.9% of the time is we're going to hit is via email. This should it's not gonna eliminate it, but it's gonna help slow it down. Help keep the bad guys out. We applied for a grant through MMRA that we need you guys to sign today. It can up to 50% of the cost can be covered by them.
Who has the paper?
I don't have it for the grant.
I not in the paperwork. I left it, bring it back down to the paperwork. But
How many other counties are you, is this a?
most of, I would say half the counties in Michigan are using Know Before. From the responses I got back from the lister. The training and the fake emails that go out are a great way of keeping everyone in check and keeping everyone's eyes open. There's a 45-minute training that we will require completed by September, or October. Give everyone a couple months to complete it. No one has to sit down and do it all at once. We've already done a testing for emails, and there's a button on everyone's email that they can click in case they think it's a fake email or if it's a phishing email. I've gone through about 2 or 3 hours of the training already. Pretty informative. I think it'll help us.
I believe in our conversation, you said that there was something to do with other agent or with individual agencies.
We get audited by for our prosecutor, for cybersecurity, our front of the court, 911, sheriff, and they all require this training. Up until now, it's expensive. We were able to get a discount through My Deal, and with the grant funding through MMRA, made it a heck of a lot more affordable. Just to give a frame of reference on why some of this training is necessary, we get about 5 to 6 a month of people clicking on emails they shouldn't. All it takes is once for let the bad guys in, and we are down for 2 weeks. This is hopefully will help eliminate that and train our employees to better watch out and be more careful. For the most part, our employees are fabulous. A lot of our paranoid, you click on anything and they will ask me pretty regularly to do this. The button in everyone's email will make this even quicker, that no phone call necessary. They'll click the button, it deletes it out of their inbox and sends it to me.
The biggest time requirement is going to be the 45-minute test.
Right, and it can be broken up. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. No, well, I started the first training about Monday, and we were at about a 30% completion rate for that one. It was just a 5 or 6 minute one, just on the phishing emails.
And there shouldn't be, is there no burden on departments as far as it's going to slow anything down? It's not going to be an issue for.
No, in fact, this should speed things up. Instead of having to call me, they can click on the button in the email. As far as the training, in ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well worth it. We've been getting hit a lot lately. We had to buy a firewall for our website, for instance. We were getting 200,000 hits a month just on our website. So they're trying to get in. This is just slow them down.
I was gonna say, what kind of money are we talking about if someone was to get in and try to hold this lawsuit?
Our insurance is up to $2 million. The time down would cost us a lot. You're looking at probably a minimum of a week, possibly 3 weeks of no computers in this place at all. 911 is separated from us, so we would have our 911 system up. If they went down, we have redundancies to bring them back up. Same thing with the sheriff's department. Backups in the cloud. So we do our due diligence, but it's a 2 week downtime if we get hit. And anything that can help us avoid it, slow it down, get the bad guys out, well worth it.
I would commend John on entering into this program. I mean, you know, I'm not this most savvy one when it comes to the internet but it's one more tool to stop from 3 weeks without.
Right, a lot of the other counties are all for this. The top-down approach is what they're using. So commissioners, I need you guys to take the training first. The judges already signed off on taking the training. So lead by example. I've already taken all the training for it. And this policy is just how we do it. If somebody messes up what we do, so on and so forth.
Where's the grant? Because do we want to vote on the grant today? It's his signature going. And you have-
Yes, I have the grant paper.
We'll do that and we can
You
do
know,
that.
you want a motion?
I don't know, does it require a motion to sign the MMRA grant?
It was a regular, what is that? Is that a grant? Is it like, we got,
Insurance.
yeah, but it's
And
like,
the individual departments have been signing them themselves. to
Then
my
I can
knowledge,
sign it,
bringing
that's fine.
Bringing it to the board, to the chairman for final signature.
okay. All right. So do we as a board have to approve that kind of a, I mean, it is.
They have him sign,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Well, we have the discussion now if you want. So we talked in personnel about this. There was a little bit of concern that we hadn't met with all department heads. I mean, blowback hasn't been bad. Nobody's been saying absolutely not.
No, this is just a policy to help us along. It's not meant to penalize people. It's a policy to give us an idea of where we need to go. There are some ramifications as far as people having failures on the emails, this, that, the other. But it's mainly a meeting of going, hey, what's going on? Why did this happen? How do we stop this from happening again?
I'd like to see you take those as two separate. The program is purchased, the grant needs to be signed.
Yeah. we'll vote on it
Policies is,
separately.
I would prefer to see the policy issue as a separate discussion and then the filing of the grant.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, because this would become part of our personnel policy.
Right.
It's
Um,
to our-
There's nothing extreme in the policy as far as penalty, this, that, the other. It's just, hey, do your training, pay attention to your email. Trying not to click on any of these things that are gonna cause harm.
So I think we can probably wait on the policy, but you can begin. I mean, as soon as we approve the money and make sure we can start we can be working on it and doing it, and then we'll make sure the policy is gonna fit with everybody and everything. And then put that in place.
We'll probably do it next meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
that'd be my suggestion. So we can approve the grant. If you want to do that now, or you want to wait till new business, anybody, or does it matter?
Do it right now.
All right, so if I can get a motion to approve.
To move to approve the MMRA grant.
Second that. Maybe. Any other discussion for the grant approval for me to sign the grant from our insurance?
Oh, I'm sorry, should have been an authorized chair.
All right, this is one, if you remember, our insurance renewal, they brought this up and said they have lots of neat stuff, so this is part of that, I think. So, good. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So you give me a copy of that and I'll sign it.
All right.
And then give us 2 weeks on this.
That's fine.
I think we can be sending it out and doing it. And then this will just be the.
Right, well, we've already started some of the training, started the phishing email testing. I'm pleased with the results. A lot of our users really do pay attention to what not to click on. There have been over half a dozen counties in Michigan that have gotten hit with ransomware.
So when I opened my email, I got an email from KnowBe4.
Yep.
And I thought,
Oh, we don't want to click on
I
that.
did, I did, I opened it up, like, I don't know who this is, I'm not opening that, it had a link in it and everything.
I'm working with KnowBe4 on how to watermark it.
Yeah.
So that everyone knows it is.
I was not gonna.
I get it. I would, I'd rather be, you just be cautious than not, because all it takes is a single click and we're in for it. Our antivirus program, our managed detection response is supposed to stop it, mitigate it quickly, so it doesn't spread. But there's always a chance that they have advanced technology that can do so, so.
Well, there is a lot of information in this building that we do not want bad guys to get their hands on, so.
We most certainly do not. Them encrypting our data, it makes me a little bit worried. Them exfiltrating our data makes me really worried. That's the scary part.
All right, any other questions for John? No, thank you, John. Thank you, John. Happy fishing. All right. No other presentations that I have. If nobody else wanted to- I see no unfinished business, so we'll move right into new business. Anybody want to add anything else for the agenda? Anything that we,
Under finance, there's budget amendment. A bottom line budget amendment for Fund 238.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to do that under business or finance or.
yeah, let's do it in new business and it's not any.
Okay.
Budget amendment. Right, nothing else, new business claims.
I'd like to make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims, monthly claims presented for payment between 5/17/23 and 6/6/23 for check numbers 150-806 to 150-962 and e-check numbers 2125 to 2137 for a grand total of $1,147,286.14.
Second. Properly moved in second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Johnson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Yax,
Yes.
All right, MMRMA renewal, it's our insurance company.
Pause just a moment. The child care budget, does that not need to be signed by the board chair?
it already was signed.
It
There
was.
was just an amendment that was within it that didn't affect the monies at all.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I just-
Yeah.
I'm sorry. but
Right.
Didn't want to have it
Mhm.
close out without.
Okay, MMRA renewal, the insurance. We had a presentation a while back, and this is the official renewal, I guess, right?
I didn't include it back in the package
Okay.
again. You just never made a motion to move forward with
Okay.
the renewal.
We all had a chance to look at it, heard the proposal, heard everything. We have a motion and second by Carrie. Any discussion? Already made $2,500 back for the cyber stuff. All right, hearing none, all those in favor of having MMRMA be our insurance carrier for the next year, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. All right, next, housing preservation grant. Are you?
That's me.
I thought so.
It's just a free application.
Yep.
It's a resolution I just need to have. If we get the grant, I'll have to turn it in. The
Do we have
grant,
it in here? Because I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
Is it in here? It's right here. Didn't see that. Okay, you want me to read it or are we good enough to read it ourselves? I'll read it. Whereas the county of Alcona is interested in a continuing effort to upgrade housing conditions for its very low and low income homeowners, whereas the county has demonstrated a need for this assistance with data outlined in this pre-application, whereas the county intends to meet this need by leveraging the present program funds with the proposed HPG funds, thus meeting more needs. Whereas said County Board of Commissioners accept the recommendation of the Housing Board to apply for $30,000, whereas said County Board of Commissioners authorize the chief elected official to sign said pre-application and future documents relating to this HPG application. HPG being Housing Preservation Grant. Therefore, be it resolved. Should be it, says is. Therefore, be is resolved. Or be it resolved. That the County of Alcona authorize Alcona County Housing Commission to prepare and submit the pre-application for the fiscal year 2023 Rural Development Housing Preservation Grant Program on its behalf.
So move and authorize sign.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? So when you say leverage our current funds, what does that mean?
We have program income dollars that I can match with, so
Oh, I see. I got you.
don't have to, but it's nice
Helps
if you
support.
can, yeah.
Oh, yeah, resolution, I'm sorry, Liz. Yeah. Any other
Well-
discussion? Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Jumping the gun. Anything else? All right, roll call. please.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You wanna make a new one that says it, if it is? He is, if he's all.
You said Adam doesn't need to sign it right away.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
if you want to, just email it to me and I'll.
okay, I'll do
submit it.
that. I'll go up and do that right now. All right, thank you.
Item is budget amendment.
We have an addition to under new business of the RMM grant for the.
Oh, yes.
There's a budget amendment necessary. It wasn't budgeted properly every other year. We have, a countywide cleanup, and this year the reimbursements from the townships were not included on the budget. What I'm requesting is a $14,000 amendment to increase the bottom line from $7,520 to $21,520, which will cover the cost and the revenues that we are getting in for the countywide cleanup that has already taken place.
Is the 14,000 an actual number or is that the anticipated?
That was the anticipated revenue that was coming in from the township, that in the city.
There were some that didn't do it.
Correct. So there's also the $1,500 that would cover the cost, part of the costs.
Oh, yeah.
And if something else comes in, that was already budgeted, so.
Okay.
That was the, excuse me, that was the billed amount to all the entities, the outside entities. Which is what we base our general basing revenue on.
All right, any other questions? I hope so. The motion for the budget amendment?
Yes, I'll make a motion to move $14,000 out of the discretionary fund. That's where,
No, this is just changing the bottom line. I'm sorry, the money is coming within this fund, so it's just to amend the bottom line. of the budget.
okay,
Sorry, I didn't get the.
I'm sorry, to amend the bottom line for the discretionary fund.
Harry seconded it. Any other discussion? We need a roll call. do we?
Yes,
I say you hesitated, so I thought maybe, roll call please.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Fast. Great. You know, we had my son's graduation party, so I was not, I had stuff to take. Was it busy? Was there a line? Anybody go to the recycle, to the cleanup? Anybody in here?
Brent went.
Did you work it? How was it?
Wonderful.
I mean, did we have the normal amount of cars, more or less?
We were low. I think the number
I'm
was.
sorry for distracting. I just didn't, I wanted to know.
Was 177.
Oh, it is down.
I'm pretty sure that.
Well,
I normally walk into the 200s.
it all went smoothly.
Pardon?
It all went smooth.
Donuts, you can, it's great.
All right. Sorry about that. Well, but I don't hear that was the one. Okay, one other item was the grant approval for MMRA for their grant for our cyber. What's it called? Know before.
Security training.
and no
Security
before
awareness.
security awareness, it's actually software, I believe.
Yeah.
And some other stuff that's involved, so.
I would say move to,
You
You
did that
already did that.
under
Oh,
presentation.
I thought so. She said I had to do it again.
No,
We did
it
it.
was your second motion that you guys made.
They have to authorize the chair to sign.
We did it during when John was in here. He led me down, he deceived me. Okay, so we're, that's it for new business. If anybody else had anything else? Finance report?
There's not much to report this time.
Is it nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Personnel report. Harry, you wanna do that?
Go ahead.
So we've met, had several different items, and I forget the one that you wanted me to talk about. Cause I knew we had so much, and you said, oh, you'll be speaking on, it. You can talk about that. You remember what it was? Yeah, see, we can just. So, we did talk about this policy in particular. And the concerns that we wanted to make sure all the department heads had maybe a say in this, and everybody had their own. Make sure it wasn't gonna take up time, distract from their employees or anything like that, so that's why we were hesitant to endorse it on at the outset. I thought it would come to me.
Where you come trying.
Wow.
We did just have.
It wasn't-
discussions with the ambulance people.
Yeah, we've met with ambulance and some issues there. All right, maybe looking back to one.
I'm sure you discussed the email I sent to you in regards to the personnel policy for the banking information for the county.
It did come up.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If you need a reminder, I have copies of
Would
all
you-
of that.
Yeah, would you just go over it again? Cause I did not read the whole email and explain exactly what happened and how it happened. And
You're serious?
I didn't. Okay, give me the cliff notes. So somebody used, there was a.
Oh, okay.
Well, somehow, one of the employees were able to
Automatic.
make a.
They called the Verizon account. Each of the accounts has been broke out for ease of billing because it used to be handled in the sheriff's department and under one bill. There was one billing for all the tablets, the telephones and the hotspots in the county. Were all going to the sheriff's department for the few years ago. That has been broke out into individual departments so they can pay out of their own and it's not a taxing problem for the sheriff's department to handle everyone's phone bill and tablets and hotspots. They do have the majority there. The courts, a lot of the offices, including the commissioners, have individual phones, tablets, hotspots throughout the county. What had happened was that letter that came in that someone had set up auto pay utilizing the county's bank information. What I did was there was no authorization from the clerk's office. We don't pay bills. They're not auto paid for those type of things. Because we have the process that we use, which is outlined in the last page that I sent with you. There was this particular bill. After a discussion with the Verizon agent he said, we went through everything. I was not able to get any information until I contacted John, who had originally set up the spread for all the accounts. And gave me authorization to review and do some investigation on that. We found out that it was issued to someone in the building department. And so I had just talked to Carrie. She had no idea. She brought over the letter that's attached to Tina for just as a question, I'm assuming. So it turns out that someone who has a tablet issued to the building department called in and set up auto pay utilizing the bank information for the county, which includes the routing and account number. There was no prior conversation with the clerk or the treasurer's office. No, we don't do that. That is just not something we do, and the safety of the county is extremely important. Especially the funding.
Actually, banking.
So what I did was remove the auto payment. Contacted the Carrie at the building department. Like I said, she had no idea what was, and I've spoken to a few different individuals in regards to where this possibly, it's beyond my scope of, I'm not contacting that individual. I would leave that up to you, and I gave you that information in here.
So it was being paid for already.
It was being paid for by a check,
By the county.
correct?
We don't auto pay.
We don't do auto pay for Verizon.
Problem here is, well,
No, the problem here is a employee giving out bank information for a bill that they don't have any responsibility to pay. It goes through the building department, it's approved by the board, and it's submitted to the clerk's office to verify that there's enough money in the budget, and then it's sent to me to make sure there's money in the bank to pay that. That's what the whole big picture of the process is.
And John said to change that, so that no longer can be done.
And that was something that he was working on getting changed for all the accounts. So that's the Cliff Notes.
Okay.
So, and I did ask that there would be some, a policy added to in the finance policies. And I outlined it a little bit in the back. But, so that's what I was looking for from the board, and was hoping that it would be addressed.
I think a good policy would be that you and John are the only ones that are allowed to change anything.
All right. We will add that in. Is that the current policy is on the back?
That's the current
Yeah.
payment policy. What I needed was the policy to be updated. That the auto pay, if anything is needed to be auto paid, it would go through directly to the
It's-
clerk's office.
And I apologize, I haven't got a hold of John. Well, I haven't got a hold of anybody who may have done this, but nobody's talked to the person that did this.
Not to
So,
my knowledge.
Could it have been that while did they go to the website and hit the auto
No,
pay
they
button?
called.
Actually
There was a
called,
telephone call report that was,
okay,
that's what the representative I
said?
spoke to, he
Okay.
said, I have it noted in the notes here, there was a phone call on this date. To have this set up for auto pay.
I just don't even know why, but I'll look at it. But in the meantime, just tighten up the financial, the back to make sure that anybody has, add a couple more exclamation points. All right,
The thing that I found, it's not amusing, but I paralleled it to. We have tried at times to, like a consumer's bill, get back. Paris or something. And also, I think we tried to get a, it wasn't, it was like the ones that you would buy paper supplies from.
Mm.
And particularly the consumers one. I was not the authorized one. So they couldn't send,
Right.
they couldn't give me any information. But I'm trying to compare bills, and I don't have this one. And
too bad.
but this,
That is kind of
Slid right
shocking that
through.
they would let somebody do that, but.
Well, their name was on the account, supposedly. But the individual, which was part of the problem, the individual that called has not been an employee since mid 2016. That's the name on the account, so I guess that was a big problem for me.
So have we done everything with Verizon to make sure that can't happen again also? Done in there.
That's in the works with John, getting those things changed.
Okay. I'll have something fresh and fun at the next meeting, a nice little paragraph there. Absolutely, do not do that.
I did not want to infringe on your personnel report, so go ahead. I apologize, I was gonna bring that up in
No, I'm glad, thank you.
Perhaps that's something that we need to put in the contracts that we have with some people. A paragraph or a sentence or something, but you will not.
Or that the contractors are to, I mean, this person is still contracted in,
Right.
but
For any
part of their contract that they will adhere to the county's personnel policy.
It sort of
And
defines
financial.
reality to me, why anybody would even do that. They
You
know-
wouldn't think you would have to send this.
Yeah, it's county
To
paid, what are
anybody.
you doing? Don't even mess with it. It's already paid for, what do you feel fooling with it?
Is that line?
Yeah, well. But it wasn't even an issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Is that the beginning of the treasurer's report?
I don't know, are you done with your?
Yeah, I think we're done. That was good. Thank you.
There was an article that was sent to me in regards to the settlement of the class, some of the class action on 43 different counties.
Yeah.
Very little. Sorry. Very little space on the bottom. Addressed one of the cases that we're involved in, which is the Fox case. And we were dismissed from that because there was litigation. The individual did not own property in the other counties. So that case will be going through on its own without the involvement of ours. I believe it was a class action that was removed. We still do have 2 cases that are still outstanding, and those ones have not been resolved. So we're still waiting on those. We sent out 2,091 delinquent bills on May 31st. And prior to that, we had our treasurer's training for the setup of the tax rolls. We did have a pretty good turnout. There were a few that did not show up. We did have 3 assessors that were here. 2 for sure. I'm trying to think of the third one. But there was very informative. We had the SNA, the actual trainer, come in, and we spent the day. It was scheduled to be from 9 to 4. We, with a small group size, and we got it was a lot of information for everybody to absorb. And we are well on our way to getting the townships are well on their way to get the new tax roll set up. We have the county tax roll set up, and what we'll be doing now is doing a comparison between the county's roll and the township's roll to verify that they balance and see where the issue may or may not be. And there's a lot of new hurdles we're gonna all have to jump through and over and under to get this going. And we have noticed some issues that we have with addressing. But it's just the way it is with the process. We're all in a new process, so we're working on that. That's really about it. We did send those bills out. Everybody and their brother and sister and anybody who was involved got them, and the phones have been ringing off the hook, and we've been bringing in a lot of the delinquent tax funds, so that's good.
That was our ball game, and there was a guy in front of me, he said, he was on the phone with his wife. And he said, what? And it was, they had missed something.
You're welcome.
And they got a little loan. I said, I know her. She sent me a loan all the time.
So that's where we are. Does anybody have any other questions?
I mean, I know we're just shooting in the dark here, but I sent that out, assuming that if they're settling, probably something's gonna happen in the wrong way, obviously. The tax foreclosure thing, since that group settled, we will probably settle at some point after we spend how many million or thousands, tens of thousands in legal fees. Yeah.
We're getting close.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and we have, I've been extremely stringent with the funding that is in the tax sale foreclosure fund. And I believe that, depending on how, depending
have
on how it goes, if it's just the actual, if it's the actual dollars of the properties are sold for, it will be covered with the funds that are available. If it goes to a market value, then that's a different story, and that would be something that we would.
I feel obligated this, because we have public in here, people may not understand. So what she's talking about is she just talked about foreclosure, and there's a foreclosure on a piece of property, and if we end up taking the property because you don't pay your taxes,
Awarded by the court.
awarded by the court, it's been adjudicated, it's gone through the whole process. You lose your property, and then at some point Cheryl would have an auction, and that piece of property would be sold. And whatever money was made off that property, it goes into a fund that she keeps track of. And there was a legal case that was presented, was that 3 years ago now? I think we were one of the first ones, weren't we? Or was coming? Maybe 3-4 years.
3 years, at least 3 years.
That people who had lost their property felt like it was an illegal takings of their property, and they felt like any excess money over and above what was owed on taxes should have been their money and not the county's money. But what I want to make clear is if you ever hear this or you see it, and there is a comment from those who are on that side of it who would say the counties have robbed people and taken their money and taken their assets. The point of it is that this was a state law. We were operating completely by the rules. The legislature had passed the laws. This is how you do foreclosures. Every time I read it, I think people would look at that and think, oh, there's the county again. They're taking our money, and it's not that way at all. This was actually legislated to be that way. And the Supreme Court has ruled that these people are entitled to them, that extra asset or any money extra over and above, so.
But I think an important element in that whole thing, Craig, is that if, let's say there's $5,000 of taxes due, and either it's not sold, we've had the cost of advertising, of having something go out,
There are
on
lots of-
property, all of that. We eat that.
So I'm probably babbling, so if I am, just tell me, but anyway, there was some extreme cases. I think one was in Detroit where the guy owed $74 or something in taxes on his property, and they foreclosed on his house and sold it for $100,000, and they paid his $27 or whatever in taxes, took the $120,000 and put it in the county's funds, and that was the way it was. That's legal. I don't think we have it. We have nothing like that.
It's not in that, it's not that quick of a time frame.
Right. But just so everybody knows, if you see this stuff come out, we weren't doing anything nefarious, taking money from anybody. We were following the rules. There, I had to get it off my chest. Okay. Treasury report, that's it?
Oh my God.
All right. We have some communications there, several resolutions from county. You can read those at your leisure. Oh, I went right over it. Sorry.
Sure.
Sorry.
Well, she sent out 2,100 delinquent tax notice there, and I sent out 1,600 peer qualification questionnaires, but we're sending out more and more because there are more and more jury trials. I apologize. You know, I always say it's the gift that keeps on giving for a whole year, and some people seem to be selected over and over again, but we only have so many people driving in the county, and there's only 10,000 and 1,600. The likelihood of you getting them, it doesn't seem random, but it is a random draw from the Secretary of State, and that's how you're chosen. With that being said, the reason we send out so many, we have over the next few months, 10 jury trials scheduled. So far, 3 or 4 of those have settled. And last year, the pool of jurors, especially being in a county where our age is so high, once you hit that age of 70, you mark that you don't want to serve, they're permanently excused. So that just made the pool smaller of who's going to receive these notices. So hopefully some more will settle. I know there's a couple of big ones coming up. That said, Craig, you mentioned the MMRMA renewal. The net asset distribution was roughly the $7,300, and then there was the state pool fund distribution, and that was roughly $1,500, and every year that we're in that pool, that amount will increase. So with our renewal cost that came in because of all the card year, which was about $5,500, right, this came out to about $8,800, so $2,000 that we'll put back into the fund, so that was nice. You also received the MTA Association membership renewal. You guys have not been doing that, but I just wanted to make you aware that I did receive it. You want it?
You guys not buying them.
Don't you do the Michigan?
That's township, we don't.
We don't do that, you do the county. Okay. I have a couple of bills, Dave, that consumers for the Parks and Rec will need to sign on.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
And we're adding signing with his name, and then I'm paying.
Got
Okay. Still working with Huron Community Bank since they've upgraded their software with hiccups. I'm assuming you too. It's been real fun. Let me see what else, the auto pay thing. And I understand that eventually some businesses may get to a point where they're gonna make your or require it, or right now, even with our insurance renewal, when we renew, we still pay by a check. And I actually had to sign a form last year because I didn't want to do an EFT. I'm like, no, I want to pay, I want to see the bill, I want to write a check, and they're like, can you explain why? And I'm like, this is how we do things. I'm sure, but eventually they're gonna make us switch over and do that, and that's fine. We are setting up more and more EFTs all the time. So, other than that, I think that's all I have. Yeah.
Okay. Communications, committee reports, Eric, is there anything?
District health meeting, I attended the day, and I'll let him go into it. I'm sure what he wants to talk about with regard to the food. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, actually, they, other than the environmental director, no one in the health department district knew about the septic tank legislation that is pending. They say they have the votes for. And they're like, well, who's gonna oversee this? It's like, you guys. Who's gonna fund it? So that's gonna be the big question is, and I mean, for those that don't know, it's, they wanna have all septic tanks inspected every 5 years. And then if it doesn't pass, they're going to condemn that house until you update it. So that's just one of the things coming with that deal. Mr. Telfer.
Yes, I haven't manpower to do.
They don't have manpower, they don't have funding, they have. So we'll see what's gonna happen, but they say they have the votes for it, it's gonna pass. So, I think they had a lot other.
That was the main point that you brought up. Rather well.
So, anything else?
Do you have anything else?
Oh, I mean, building department, we're gonna work, I think. Dave is going to work, he couldn't get anyone to demolish the chimney, so he's gonna take it upon himself in the next few weeks to do that. Library, I think Lincoln Library is finishing up with their repairing of the whole side of the building that somebody hit this winter. That's.
You have anything, Carol?
Recently I provided them each with a copy of the CAC quarterly report for Children's Advocacy Center. I'm pleased to share with you that their certification review recently, and they have been provided another 5-year recertification. There were many accolades for the CAC staff, and it's always nice when we see that CAC quarterly report and there's 0 by Alcona County. You have to hope that there aren't some that were missed. But, and you may not know, that started in Alcona County. Over the AHC Health Center in Lincoln was the original point of that entity, and then they moved it to, Alpena, so it would be more accessible to Bristol, Ocean Boys, and other counties. 911 received, real property, tax app, not an application, sorry, from DDA. They appreciate them sharing those dollars with them. The only group that is left on the high band is the weather folks. The recommendations are that the weather folks are left on the high band because the 800 causes problems for the weather. They applied for a grant through our insurance program, the MMRMA, and they were awarded $5,000 to go toward the new system with a cost of about $18,000. Purpose is a vehicle locating system, a system that will benefit dispatch, the sheriff's department, and EMS. As you know, we have called into MIFSM, a medical examiner, recently to discuss some details, and we asked them to give us 2 or 3 dates, and I would coordinate that and set that up, and they have not done so yet. I will call them by the end of this week and ask them again. ACCOA continues to move forward. The current budget year, October 22nd through September 23rd, was over budgeted in excess of $200,000. Both revenues and of course expenditures. They are working on addressing this. Can be a hard thing to do, but they have no choice. They must address it. They have terminated the McLaren Health Center contract, which was a $32,000 contract. The food bank pantry budget for $26,000, which served all of Alcona County, or was serving all of Alcona County, putting it out of compliance with the funding contract with the county. An exit procedure was developed. There are 2 churches with food banks available, Lots Baptist Church and Harrisville United Methodist. Also, there are food boxes available for seniors' needs. They will continue to be available as long as they fill out an APIS form. NEMSCA also sends a truck the second Tuesday of each month to the rear parking lot to provide for those seniors in need based on income. The opioid committee continues to work at updates and monitoring the things they've approved. The NEST continues to move forward. And the NEST is the rehab, not rehab, recovery house. The group has established a regular date for their meetings, the 4th Wednesday of the month at 1:30 in the afternoon here. And that's the highlights.
Thank you. Any question? I had veterans, so I did speak this morning with SME, who was doing our environmental cleanup or environmental evaluations. The original piece of property you looked at right across from Oakland Motors, that's at 316 2nd Street, did not pass its phase 1, so they're going to do a phase 2. They're in the process of getting that spooled up and getting going. We've moved the first one, or the second one, which is now our first one, to be a little quicker. So that's the 222 2nd Street. And I'm sorry I haven't told you this, Pat, but I just found out this morning. But so that one, it passed the phase 1, also the phase 2. When they did their radar, they found no tanks, they found nothing underground. They're waiting for analysis to come back from the borings. I tried to get her to say, what do you think? And she wouldn't. She said, you know,
But they didn't find any tanks. It's probably a good indication.
yeah,
It should be good.
Yep, that's what we're hoping. Probably week and a half, 2 weeks, that it'll all be done. I asked her to let me know as soon as she, because even after they get the analysis, it'll take another week and a half for them to compile it and give us that 30-page or 300-page report. So I said, as soon as you know it's good, let me know so we can get going on this. So that's the gist of what's going on there. Good news, I think.
I knew.
Yeah, you know.
I was there. When they did it.
Yeah, you saw the
Yeah.
tanks weren't there and
It
yeah.
was
Yeah.
Good news.
Yep. Other than that, I have anything else? If nobody else has anything to add? No, all right, public comment? If anybody to? Anybody in the internet for public comment?
You have one.
Oh, here.
Yeah, Gary Van Hook, Mitchell Township. I was listening to last month's meeting and was kind of disturbed about somebody bringing up the fact that you know, supporting the Second Amendment and all that. Now, I'm not one to jump into bed with these 2A people. My biggest concern is the First Amendment, but usually denigrating and calling people names to not get you to follow it. You know, you have to understand, you guys are our closest thing to government. That we've actually got a voice in here, and nobody listens to us generally at state level or a federal level at all. So when you voice concerns, and everybody on this board is, you know, sworn oath to both the Constitution, you know, Michigan and the federal, and sometimes I think people just raise their hand and swear to a document, have no concept what they're talking. Like, I remember when I sat on the board and it came down to the septic tank code. You know, the state of Michigan thinks they always know what's better for people. They were gonna do a blanket statewide septic code. And it's not like Michigan doesn't have different terrain, right? Like UP is pretty rocky and you got sand and you got clay. None of that stuff ever goes into mind, you know, government just comes up with the one size fits all. And we're watching all our rights being eroded. The next one that's coming is going to be speech, because Lansing's about ready to redefine what they're going to consider hate speech as well. So, you know, my real concern is the First Amendment, the right of conscience. You know, you guys swore an oath to uphold the Michigan state constitution, which says that morality, religion, and knowledge are necessary for mankind to produce good citizens. And that's in section 8, Article 8, section 1 of the Michigan Constitution. And that's about ready to vanish because we're getting other people's ideas of what they consider right and wrong. And I think at this point, when you start getting resolutions along those lines, you better start thinking about them, because as I said, we got no place else to go. Nobody ever comes at this level. And by the way, even though I don't really stand with the 2A people, doesn't mean I'm gonna let anybody infringe on my Second Amendment rights. Kind of like to think from Quigley down under. I may not like handguns, but it doesn't mean I don't know how to use them.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. Commissioners, additional comments and concerns?
Yeah, I had a couple things here. Last meeting, we had a zoning request change. I didn't know much about it, but it's actually Hubbard Lake. They're just adding, changing zoning so they can get more storage units put in behind there is what it
So
is.
it's Caledonia Township.
Caledonia Township, it's not a big deal. They approved it. And it's not a big thing with us, so we're not gonna do anything. Carolyn and I were talking about all these resolutions, the aggregate legislation. We're talking about maybe getting a resolution just because I don't think it's good if we're gonna lose our local control on all our sand and sand pits, quarries, gravel pits. The state actually wants to take control of all that. So if they decide to put a gravel pit next to your house or subdivision, you won't have any say where you could come to us and we wouldn't approve it. The state doesn't care. And so I think we already have one. Why don't we just have a resolution? And we're talking about putting a resolution together for Alcona County and support of that.
All right. Good. Anything else? Anyone? Hearing none? All right, call the meeting adjourned till June 21. Thank you, everyone.
Cheryl, we had 1 second. Oh, I'm just gonna do 1 second. I just kind of want to give her.
It's bad.
Yeah. So if green is being verified. Every single.
Go ahead. No, no.
Yeah. Total taken.
How do you find that? That was all of it. That's what you want to know, like,
These are.